End of the LP, guys. It's done. I decided to cut the shit and just finish it off in my own time and just record me finishing it.
It's a celebration, bitches.
Yeah, you guys didn't get to see the rest of it, but I saw it. No. I'm a terrible liar. That was just my hard playthrough. You see, in between the last update and this update, I managed to finish the game on all the other difficulties apart from non-stop. So yeah, did a bit of grinding. One thing about this congratulations screen I'll mention is that there is actually a little spoiler in it. Not in this video in particular, but if you look at it, say, in my normal video, you might see this little spoiler. Or a little teaser, rather, of what is to come.
Let me go whip some things into shape for you.
So for finishing the game on hard, we got this golden LP, Mars the Bringer of War. And that's, well, it's straight up playing the... straight up playing Gustav Holst from the Planet Suite. Which I think is probably the most well-known of the Planet Suite.
Son of a bitch. Won't listen to a word I say. I damn near wrung your neck. Now, get to work.
We also unlock a couple of other things. For finishing the game on easy, not very easy, I'm not sure why they did that, but you can only unlock it on easy. If you finish the game on easy, you get this Immortal and Marionette. Nothing particularly significant that I'll mention about it at the moment because I will cover this later on, in the final update for the LP. By the way, those two coming soon slots, one of them is supposed to be the Bracelet of Time. One of them is something we haven't unlocked yet. I was just thinking when I was playing this and thinking, why do I got two slots? I can't think of another accessory. No. It's because I cheated and got the Bracelet of Time. So that's not the only thing we unlocked, we also unlocked Costume Change. And also check out our play history a little bit more. But no, if you finish the game on any difficulty, I'm pretty sure, normal or easy or very easy, I'm pretty sure you'll unlock it. You unlock this item called the Super Mirror. It becomes available in Radah's shop, and you can buy it for 10,000 halos. And when you buy it, you get a costume, the Umbran Komachi, for free. Radah's such a cool dude. But you can buy additional costumes at the Gates of Hell and they're called Couture Bullets. Each one costs $10,000. And Bayonetta and Jeanne do get a couple of unique costumes to themselves. I guess I'll show it off, yeah, in the extras video at the end of the LP. One thing you should note also that Zero does not get costumes, unfortunately. It's a shame. So as you can see here, the Bazillions pretty much handle exactly like the regular handguns in terms of combos. The difference here being that they are super special ancient civilization guns. And they produce those lasers there, which is pretty neat. They actually are a little bit more powerful than the regular handguns, that is to say Scarborough Fair or 441. And the charge modified produces that blue laser, which can pin down enemies that aren't in rage, so you're not going to see this in this chapter, unfortunately. It's mostly noticeable when you pin enemies in the air after an uppercut, for example. I will say this chapter is not very interesting to play, unfortunately. This is probably one of the more interesting fights because it's got 3 Gracious and Glorious here. But apart from that, it's a bit of an old hat, really. By the way, the Bazillions can pretty much down any enemy except for Joy's, Jeanne, and the bigger enemies like Braves and Beloved. Although I don't know, it might actually be different for Gracious and Glorious. I know for sure you can definitely pin down Grace and Glory. So the Bazillions are a reference to an old anime series called Zillion. Ran in 1987 and was jointly produced by Tatsunoko Studios and Sega. Sega then of course produced 2 games for the Sega Mega Drive system called Zillion and Zillion 2. Sorry, did I say Mega Drive system? What the hell? Sega Master System. So the studio that did Zillion, by the way, they do animation for South Park lately, and they also did the animated movie for Akira, which is a really awesome movie. You guys should watch it. The Zillion mentioned in for the title of the anime is actually a reference to mysterious guns, which from the sounds of it are actually central to the series, given that they're actually called Zillions. So the story takes place on the planet Mars in the year 2387. Around this time, the Noses start a genocide program to kill all humans in order to lay eggs and reproduce on the planet. 3 mysterious guns dubbed the Zillion weapon system appear, and 3 teens, JJ, Champ and Apple, are chosen to wield them as the White Knights in order to fight back against the Noses. The anime ran for 31 episodes. I haven't actually watched it because watching movies for this LP takes forever and would delay it by a month probably. So no, not gonna do that again. One thing to note is that the Bazillions in the game do not look, to me, anything like the Zillions in the anime. They're just a reference by name. Oh yeah, another... I guess it's a really weird kind of note about Zillion, but some footage from the anime was actually used in a music video by Michael Jackson. In his single called Scream, which he did a duet with his sister Janet, it uses footage of, you know, an anime dude screaming. I'm not really sure why they needed to have it from Zillion, but yeah, there's a reference for you there. And also, by the way, the video for Scream cost $7 million to produce. It's black and white and it's ridiculously 90s. Seriously, go watch it. Most enemies in oh sorry, not enemies. Most weapons in this game actually do get different appearances between Jeanne and Bayonetta. Not so much the case for Bazillions. They, I'm pretty sure, are exactly the same for both Jeanne and Bayonetta. I have mentioned how this chapter is a little bit lackluster in the interesting department. Not really helped by the fact that I've used the same couple of combos. Also, flaming enemies, I hate you forever. So you can actually see here that there are 2 different charges for the Zillions. There's a thinner one if you don't fully let the gun charge, I suppose, and there's a thicker one if you let it go all the way. presumably the larger one does more damage. I can't really be sure on that, but it's probably safe to assume that. In future, I'll try not to rely on Kilgore so much because they are ridiculously good at destroying angels. The splash damage from them means that enemies that are bunched up will recoil, and you do wicked amounts of Wicked Weave damage, which is good for your multiplier, and you kill things way too quickly. Although in some cases you actually want to do that. And here we have, I think, the only crow on non-stop on this chapter. We're actually very close to collecting the crows here, which is nice. So dodge offsetting with Bazillions on the hands, as you can see, produces these little short lasers, which, like Scarborough Fair and, excuse me, All for One, they can ricochet off of surfaces and hit enemies for you. On the feet, it's a different story. It actually produces completely different looking bullets. On the feet you get a completely different sound. I think I should actually show it off later in the video, but if you dodge offset with Bazillions on the feet, then it produces these little circles which have the Umbran Portal logo, Umbran Portal symbol, whatever. And it produces a different sound as well, which is pretty cool. I'm not sure why they chose to have differences between the hands and the feet in this case, because normally it's the same. Yeah, it's a neat little detail that it has the Umbran detailing on it. Now, as you saw there, normally for this chapter you use the angels to get witch time off so you can walk through the fans. Not so much the case on hard or non-stop because you obviously can't get witch time. So the fans actually stop periodically, letting you walk through. And I do find it's best to actually not attack the enemies until you're at the very end. Also, working with the camera here is really annoying. Although, honestly, I really can't complain about the camera in this game after playing Metal Gear Revengeance. Another crow. One of the few crows that are placed in Alpine so you don't have to finish the Alpine for, which is nice. Cool story about this when I was recording this. I initially thought that the enemy in this Use Witch Time event, Use Witch Time Alpine, was a golem, which it is in... it is the same on normal and hard, I believe, but no, they use a goddamn Jeanne on non-stop in the climax, and it's a little bit harder to get Witch Time off her legitimately. Normally people would get magic by using the parry mechanic, but I found it really hard to get it consistently without her hitting me. So you can abuse the camera trick here to get magic. And abuse Fire Durga, seriously. Kills her so quickly. Thank God the combo rank for this is really low. Now the fight coming up, the Jeanne fight, I have actually left the cutscenes in for this one because I think, what would you say, the choreography for these cutscenes is really amazing, and I usually skip them most of the time, which is a shame. They're really good cutscenes. You know, when they're not being the film kind.
Why so glum?
Speaking of, if you haven't been watching the Khmer commentaries, which he's stopped updating now, but he mentioned that the film cutscenes were meant to be a time-saving mechanic, and they actually ended up taking up more time than the actual animated cutscenes, which I thought was pretty funny.
It's clear you're worried for the girl. I am well aware of my task, but you have forgotten that I do not need your help.
I always wonder why Serpentia is hanging around in the sky. I mean, I associate him with the ocean, so why the hell is he hanging out on a plane? Whatever. I mean, come on. Bayonetta here grabs some moisture out of the air and turns it into a goddamn icicle? What? I didn't realize Bayonetta could turn water into ice.
Hatred. Accept your violent fate. Accept it and earn the left eye. Prove you deserve it.
Oh, the actual costume. Did you notice the Umbran portal signage that she had in her hair? There's all these little details in it. The little Umbran things. There's massive butterfly motif going on. And by the way, I believe this costume in particular was meant to be a slight reference to Okami, one of Khmer's other games. Bazillions are actually really good for Jeannes and Joys. I'm not really sure why that is. They don't get pinned down by it, but I seem to do better with them. I really can't say much about strategies for Jeanne, which I haven't already said. Just pull out lots of wicked weaves.
Fear not fear.
By the way, I hope the gameplay in this verse makes up for the lackluster playing in the rest of the chapter, because I think this verse, by the way, totally makes up for it. It really annoys me that it took me ages to get that use Witch Time Alpha because I could not get a Moth Within from Jeanne. It actually is really hard to try and trigger her Wicked Weave normally, which made it hard. See? We could weave. Done. Just to continue the thought on the weapon, the outfit at the moment, Kamiya did mention that he actually wanted to do a straight up reference to Akami in this costume, but Sega wouldn't let him. So I think this is probably the closest you get to an Akami reference in this game, apart from, you know, all the other Akami references in this game. God. The fights here are really bad, mainly because of the rising electrical water. You have to be really careful not to step into it because it's constantly rising, and sometimes I think it comes up through the grate or something. It's really bizarre. Which is why I was being really careful with that Ardor. Ardors really are pissing me off at the moment. For one, you're on fire, so it means I can't touch you. Secondly, you blocked all my stuff, so you ruined my combo. I hate you. And lastly, you won't let me use Fire Dagger on you. Look at that, what the hell? What's the point of Fire Dagger if I can't use them against enemies, huh? Now I haven't tested this, but I'm pretty sure you could run to the next area without Cereza, and the game wouldn't penalise you. Okay, this next verse in particular has a kind of high combo count. And unless you know what you're doing in terms of wanting to get the platinum rank, you're not gonna get it. If you fight regularly with, you know, your usual high power stuff like Electric Durga, Kilgore, whatever, you're not gonna reach it. I think it's at least 5,000 for this or something. It's ridiculous. So what you want to do is either do a torture attack on one of these guys to get the weapon, angel weapon, or use a cowgirl spin, which I was failing to do it for a while. Now I don't normally use Fire Dagger, but when they're bunched up like that, then it's actually really good, because as you can see, the number of points you get for a Wicked Weave stacks. See, it doesn't seem like that much, but when you're fighting enemies as delicate as Harmonies, it's pretty hard. But that's that. The Broken Sky, one of the most boring chapters in the game.
It's a celebration, bitches.
But the fact that I finished this means that we're one step closer towards the most bestest fight in the game. So join me next time for the cardinal virtue of prudence, and after that, awesome fight. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.